Listen, I don't have a lot of time and maybe they aren't after me just yet, but I need to get this video out before Paramount agents triangulate my location and send quiet pills through my window. Yes, that was written before Sonic 3's UK premiere, but I don't care, because I've figured it out. After copious amounts of thinking that in reality only took about 15 minutes, I'm just that intelligent, I have discovered the truth. I know what's going to happen in Sonic 4, and I know how the post-credit scenes are going to set up the movie. I have not read any spoilers from the premiere, and this video is aimed at those who are already in my position, avoiding spoilers for the movie. Does this make the subject at hand irrelevant already? Perhaps yes, but it's not going to stop me from tossing my hat into the ring for everyone patiently waiting for the movie who doesn't want to get spoiled. Now, personally, I have been avoiding as much as I can about Sonic 3 before I see it on Friday, December 20th. I have seen the first two trailers from Paramount alongside a TV spot that's integral to one of my theories. This video is geared at people like me who don't want anyone to tell them anything before the film comes out. As such, I must issue a warning not to look at the comments of this video before seeing the movie, as it will likely include spoilers pre- or post-release. I will not be looking at the comment section until after seeing the film on opening weekend, so feel free to comment whatever vulgarities you think YouTube will let you get away with. I should also state that some of these theories have been stated by others online as well, but I will be fleshing them out in more detail to make them more uniquely my own. This theory video started out as a rather simple prediction for Sonic 4, but now I believe, no, I'm convinced, Sonic 3's post-credits will include integral information that defines Paramount's version of the franchise beyond the big screen, and it all has to do with this piece of confirmation. There are two post-credit scenes in Sonic 3. Unlike the last two installments, there will be more than one tease about what's coming next for the Blue Bingler and his friends, but there's more. According to the spoiler-free social media reactions curated by outlets on December 10th, both post-credit scenes are massive. It's not like the MCU where sometimes they'll be pointless and goofy. No, both of them have important reveals, and I think I've figured out what they are. But before positing theories that will be proven wrong in just a few short days, I need to distinguish the key differences both scenes are probably going to have, because I don't think both scenes are for Sonic 4. I believe one of them is also for whatever TV spin-off Paramount has cooking in the background. Speaking with Paste Magazine in April 2024, executive producer Toby Asher laid out what the plans for Sonic are going to be at Paramount, specifically the differences between movies and TV shows. Asher likened the movies to Avengers-level events, where a variety of characters come together and take down certain threats or go on big adventures. But for TV, the stories will be focused more on individual characters, establishing them more concretely within the shared universe. That's what The Wade Show did for Wade and sometimes Knuckles, and the proof is visible in the first Sonic 3 trailer. In the debut preview, Knuckles can be seen jumping off Big Ben with his fists on fire. This is a reference to his Flames of Disaster ability first highlighted in his show. While the shows might not be necessary to understand the movies, Paramount clearly wants them to be an important part of the franchise moving forward. Not just for storytelling, but also because money. Paramount Plus is only just starting to become profitable for the company. In their third quarter earnings report for 2023, the streaming service was operating at a $238 million loss. Imagine hitting the entire country of Kiribati with the Eclipse cannon. That remaining crater is Paramount Plus. But 1 year later, and the streamer is now operating at a $49 million profit for 2024's third quarter. And one of their most popular series, by far, has been Knuckles. Within its first weekend on the platform, Knuckles became the most watched original show ever produced by Paramount Plus. Let's put that in perspective, shall we? Knuckles beat all the Star Trek shows produced for the platform. He beat the multitude of shows created by Taylor Sheridan, including 2 Yellowstone spin-offs. He beat Camp Coral, he beat Beavis and Butthead's Return, he beat Transformers Allspark, although that one probably wasn't too hard to beat, but regardless, Knuckles reigned supreme on Paramount Plus, shitting on the competition with his giant hands. So, of course, the studio would want to replicate this success. And what better way to get more eyes on their streaming platform than to tease a new side story at the end of their most well-received Sonic movie so far. I am not here to tell you how integral Sonic shows are going to be for the movie franchise's future, but I do believe that Knuckles acted much like the first Sonic movie did, having enough from the games to satiate fans, while also using cringe humor and pop culture references to ease the normals into into the series. Since it sounds like the gloves are coming off for Sonic 3, I don't think we're going to get another Wade the series, especially since Paramount now owns the models they're using for the Sonic characters, making it cheaper to animate him and his pals. This justification is important because I believe the first post-credits scene is going to reveal the premise of the next show, which I also think is Knuckles Season 2, and here's why. This is Kristen Ritter. She's playing Director Rockwell, a high-ranking gun agent who has remained conspicuously absent from the two main trailers of the film. While she's appeared in some smaller advertisements I have refused to watch, her presence seems rather odd to say the least. Commander Walters already holds the role of Gun Commander, taking Abraham Tower's job from the games. So, introducing someone of a higher rank, especially a well-known actor like her, what with her Breaking Bad and MCU ties, just seems a little weird. And the fact she's not highlighted at all in the larger trailers makes me think she has a much bigger role in the franchise than anticipated. Not the movie, mind you. I think the characters already front and center will take up too much time to make her a notable addition, but I do think she'll have some role to play, because I think she's a Sonic character, and I think Director Rockwell doesn't exist. On November 25th, Zitter user Valorium posted an image of Tom with giant Sonic character eyes from a TV spot for the movie. In a later video of the full teaser, Tom can be seen using what appears to be gun technology to change his face. It makes his eyes big, then his chin big, comedic stuff like that. But then, something absolutely unprecedented happens. His head turns into his dog's. This is everything. Gun has the ability not just to disguise themselves through exaggerated human facial features, but to look like different species entirely. This cloaking technology would be perfect for someone to disguise themselves as somebody else or something else, given Tom turning into his less sentient animal companion. But Tom's cartoon eyes also indicate gun agents could turn into Sonic-like characters if they wanted to, or even the opposite. Sonic-like characters could disguise themselves as humans. Rockwell's lack of presence in the trailers is suspicious. So too is her being such a high-ranking member of Gun when we already have someone who can fill that role. Which makes me wonder, was Ritter hired not as a familiar face for a bit part, but rather for a larger role in the Sonic universe? And I think so, yes, because I believe Director Rockwell is actually Rouge the Bat. Now this sounds far-fetched, I know, but bear with me here. While she's not directly connected to Gun in the games, she does ally with them in Sonic X, offering some potential in having her associated with them in the movies. She's also a master thief, meaning that, if she needed the information Gun provides for some specific purpose, she would do anything in her power to get it. Something like, say, disguising herself as a human and working up their ranks. She is, after all, a director at Gun, which sounds like it's above Commander Walters' pay grade. Plus, both of their names begin with the letter R, so, assuming Rockwell is, in fact, Rouge in disguise, I think the first post-credits will reveal her identity, setting the stage for Knuckles Season 2. But how can I be so sure that this is the case? That not only is Rouge going to be introduced through Rockwell in the first post-credits, but also that she'll feature prominently in a Knuckles follow-up? And the answer is simple: the Chaotix. You see, this year, Sega has been practicing what's known as brand synergy within the Sonic franchise. It's the Year of Shadow, which means he gets a video game, Twitter takeovers, and a movie to top everything off. It just so happens that, as Paramount movies have been introducing new characters, those same characters have been getting spotlighted on Sega's side of the aisle. Do you really think having Knuckles star in Sonic Frontiers animated prologue was a coincidence? No, wrong, brand synergy. So why Rouge? And why the Chaotix? Well, for one, Rouge had a prominent role in Sonic Boning Shadow Generations Dark Beginnings, the animated prequel trilogy to the game. While this is slightly flimsy, it does work when paired with everyone's favorite chameleon, crocodile, and honeybee. On November 20th, IDW revealed they were going to be releasing a special comic to commemorate the Chaotix 30th anniversary. While it's not a game, it does indicate an important milestone for the team, which is something Sega and Paramount may want to capitalize on. Although nothing is in production right now, a 6-episode series featuring the trio wouldn't actually take much time to film. Assuming secret pre-production is currently taking place, which is reasonable to assume, but we'll get there later, the series could start filming as early as February or March of next year. While we don't have an exact timeline of Knuckles Season 1's filming schedule, because Hollywood mercifully stopped the slot machine for a bit, it sounds like production began in mid-April 2023 stopped in mid-July, then continued from early November to January 2024, with the first trailer getting released a month later. Remember, this is a very liberal estimate that assumes they were filming right up until they started advertising the show. It's much more likely it was a much smaller time frame than this. However, that equates to about 5 months of production, followed by 3 months of sitting on it before release. A collective 8 months to shoot, CGI, and release Knuckles Season 1. So, if my psychic powers are working and post-production has already begun, then an early 2025 shoot could easily lead to a late 2025 release. If Rouge really is a post-credit surprise, and Sega's brand synergy is still in effect, here's what I think is going to happen. The post-credits reveal Rockwell as Rouge, using the tech Tom and Maddie used to break into Gun earlier in the movie. She's there looking for something, unclear, but I think it could be gathering intel from Team Sonic on where the Master Emerald is. This could lead into Knuckles Season 2, where she steals the emerald and he enlists the help of Team Chaotix to get it back. They do investigative shit for a living after all, so everything would align perfectly. Rouge explains away Rockwell's weirdly needless inclusion in the film, and Sega gets something to tout for the detective agency's 30th anniversary. Plus, they can call Season 2 Knuckles Chaotix, and everyone involved would have a deeper connection to his character. You know, because the Chaotix debuted in a game with his name on it, and Rouge wants to fuck him. Okay, so that's my schizo theory on how Sonic 3 will force millions to finally use Paramount Plus, but that still leaves one post-credit scene to go, and this one is even more of a reach than the last one. But I'm nothing if not stubborn, so I'm going to tell you what I think is going to happen anyway. I think the final post-credit scene of Sonic 3 is going to feature Amy Rose and Silver the Hedgehog. Now, Amy feels like a no-brainer. I could go on about the Maddie's clothing color theory and how she's always worn clothes in prior movies that coincide with the color of characters who appear in post-credit scenes. I could also talk more about brand synergy, since Amy is one of the guys now and has Sally Acorn's personality for some reason, thanks Ian. But I think the most obvious point is, nobody is allowed to talk about Amy. I swear to God, I am not crazy when I say this. I have read an interview with Colleen O'Shaughnessy and seen a video of the writers of the movie, neither of which I can find, but both of which have them skirting around the topic of Amy's appearance in the movie. I think this basically confirms she's going to be in it, but I also think the current lineup is too bloated to shoehorn her into the main story, which is why I think the post-credit scene is perfect for her to debut. Now, what about Silver? Well, his appearance is more personal conjecture than anything else, maybe even a little bit fanficky, but I became convinced when I watched the second trailer for the movie, the catalyst for this entire video. I am going to play a section of the trailer, and I want you to listen to the music in the background.
Remember to listen to your heart. You're gonna make the right choice when it matters the most.
Did you hear it? Here, have another listen.
Remember to listen to your heart. You're gonna make the right choice when it matters the most.
Now, in contrast, listen to this. And now, back to back.
Remember to listen to your heart. You're gonna make the right choice when it matters the most.
Not exact, I will admit. Definitely a little faster paced for sure, but the riff being so similar to the intro to His World from Sonic 06 doesn't feel like a coincidence to me. Even if it's not note for note, it's so out of place to have a song reminiscent of Silver's debut game in a trailer for a movie he doesn't appear in. But that's not all, because yes, we're doing the synergy thing again. In 2025, IDW will be launching a new series of comics which features Sonic characters reimagined as DC superheroes. While Sonic, Tails, Knuckles, Amy, and Shadow are all embodying their relative Justice League counterparts, a curious addition is also there. Silver as Green Lantern. They are giving Silver a spotlight, which will also extend into 2026. If he's now becoming a key part of the team through this major comic crossover, then it would only make sense for his importance to also be reflected in the games and in the movies. But, and this is important, I do not think Silver's appearance means we're getting a Sonic 06 adaptation. In fact, I don't even think it's possible anymore given the current approach to the canon. Knuckles Season 1 Episode 4 saw the appearance of a demonic monster, which kind of reminds me of When I Contact the... But this monster is no random fire demon. It's actually Iblis, the bestial half of Solaris, which is, of course, the main antagonist of the White Weed's first game. I think that, since 06 gets decanonized at the end, they're not going to adapt it beat for beat. But I'll go further and say they're not going to directly adapt it at all once he arrives on the scene. Instead, I think he's coming from the future to stop a different disaster. I think he believes Sonic has destroyed his world, when, in reality, it was a different culprit the whole time. If you've seen my previous prediction videos, you already know where I'm going. I think the final post-credit scene of Sonic 3 will introduce Metal Sonic as the next big threat. However, I don't think he himself is going to appear. While him showing up would make me scream so hard blood would ejaculate at 50 miles per second from my throat, I feel like it would make more sense to establish a hero instead of a villain this time around. Silver is full of mystery because we wouldn't know right away what he would be going back in time to stop, especially because Soliana hasn't been established yet in the movie universe. But I have a theory that is probably not going to happen, but that I'm going to pitch anyway. I think Sonic 4 is going to be a mixture of Sonic 06 and Sonic CD. I think the final post-credit scene could go in a few different directions. First off, I'm still riding with my schizotistic theory that Amy is also from the future, just like Silver. I think her and Silver are going to use CD's time stones to travel back to the past, searching for Sonic so they can kill him before he can destroy the world. Of course, the post-credits and subsequent fourth movie will frame this as them being the villains, but I think the twist is that it's not Sonic at all, but Metal who is the real threat. Kind of a reverse Terminator, with Silver serving as the T-800. Amy being from the future could better tie her to the plot, giving her a larger role and perhaps explaining her salification more readily in the movie universe. Of course, there is another possibility: Amy's tarot cards. While I haven't played many new Sonic games, I know she uses them during a cutscene in Sonic Origins to predict she'll meet the person she dedicates her life to stalking, which means she can, in fact, predict the future using them. I see two possibilities. Amy shows up, totally inexplicably, and uses her tarot cards to see the bad future Metal Sonic causes. This could be in the form of Silver, who she initially believes is a threat, accidentally causing the conflict between him and Sonic in the fourth film. But another possibility is that she sees, bathed in fire, the shining red eyes of Metal Sonic. Or both. Both is also completely fine with me. I'd probably just shit myself, to be honest. But Silver's potential inclusion in the post-credits scene means we also need to address the BQ. The Blaze question. Will the movies turn Blaze into Silver's companion, or will they make her from the Soul Dimension, as she's been in the majority of games? I hesitate to guess, but if I had to hazard one, I think wherever Silver goes, Blaze is going to follow. At the risk of overstuffing the next movie, I do think she's going to be there, as it's the easiest way to introduce her. But if they really do have 4 whole new characters show up, I hope her appearance at least gives her plenty of room for development. Am I only bringing up Blaze because I fantasize about dancing with her in a ballroom as her white dress shimmers under the light of dangling chandeliers? Yes, but it's also easier to explain her by getting rid of any sort of interdimensional connection she would have. But what about when the movie is going to come out? As I mentioned before, I have reason to believe Knuckles Season 2 could be in a state of secret pre-production, and the reason why is because Sonic 4 already is. And I'm not talking about the promotional video with Stage 4 in the background. No, this is more concrete. Production Weekly is a news source for production of various shows and movies across Hollywood. However, while it costs money to read, it's free to see the titles listed inside, and in their April 11th, 2024 edition, one of the titles listed was Sonic 4. While this doesn't confirm when filming is going to begin, it does confirm the movie is actively being worked on, which is also why Knuckles could also be doing some secret stuff in the background. My guess is Sonic 4 is going to be released in mid to late 2026. It's the 20th anniversary of Sonic 06 after all, so if they do pull inspiration from the story, or even just Silver, it's the perfect year to put out another movie. Plus, if Paramount really wants to take the franchise far into the future, having a new film every other year is the best way to keep it fresh in people's minds. I'd wager summer 2026, because there hasn't been a summer blockbuster for Sonic yet, and it can ride the coattails of Avengers Doomsday in the process if it comes out in July or August. Regardless, I think the most likely scenarios for the post-credits scene involve either Amy and Silver or Amy and Metal. I think the post-credits scene is going to set the stage by either having her and Silver, and maybe Blaze, come from the future to stop Sonic, or have Amy read her tarot cards and see either of the primary characters coming soon as a major threat. Of course, if Amy does use her tarot cards, it might necessitate her sudden appearance in the movie proper, but I'm not sold on that just yet, especially since it might take focus away from Shadow's story by introducing her, especially when there doesn't feel like a reason for her to show up outside the post-credits. Plus, early reactions are saying fans went wild during the post-credit scenes, and given how highly anticipated she's been, she feels like the most reasonable surprise. Perhaps it will just be her and Metal, and they're saving Silver for later. But I want my Sonic Terminator story, damn it, and I'm willing to put my absurd fanfiction out there as potential truth, even if it means being proven wrong in a few days. If I had to tack anything on at the end here, I guess I can say what I don't think is going to happen in the post-credits. For one, there's been some speculation one of them will be showing Shadow is alive. Sonic 3 will, will, undoubtedly, go in a similar direction as Sonic Adventure 2, with Shadow realizing the error of his ways and helping Sonic stop the Eclipse Cannon, but I don't think he's going to sacrifice himself like in the games, and if he does, it feels cheap to put in a post-credit scene for something most of the audience is going to know already, that he's fine. Plus, he's too popular to actually kill, so why would they go through the trouble of even doing a fake out? That's just my opinion though. It wouldn't be surprising if it happened this way, but I'm sticking to my guns with the whole TV movie split thing. And something that is definitely not happening is Cream being in the movie. Holy fuck, people are dumb. Yeah, so some theater chain is selling the latest collection of Sonic Funko Pops alongside movie merchandise, and now online outlets, in their infinite wisdom, have convinced a number of people she's gonna show up, namely with some connection to the Chow Garden restaurant shown in the trailer. But I'm not buying it because, no offense, I do really like Cream, but what the fuck would she even do? It would be pointless to introduce her in the film, and there are way more high-profile characters the movie should tackle before she shows up. Maybe wait until we're ready to show off Emerald before bringing her and her mom in. Please, bring Vanilla in too, Paramount, please, I'm begging you. So yeah, I think Sonic 3's post-credits are gonna take a two-pronged approach and introduce new characters for the TV and movie sections of this still-growing franchise. Given the positive initial reactions to Sonic 3, I think Paramount really has something special here, as long as they're willing to embrace all the fun elements of the franchise. Even though I know my Rockwell as Rouge and Amy as a time traveler theories are out there, my predictions show just how much fun they can have with this thing. Rouge disguising herself as a human, a Sonic CD adaptation giving Silver a prominent role, Metal Sonic making me screech with the force of all my front teeth clattering to the theater floor. There's so much the movie universe can still do, and I think the upcoming post-credit scenes are gonna prove just how far they'll go. Even though this video is gonna be irrelevant in less than a week, I still wanted to make it. Not just to predict the post-credit scenes, but to show my appreciation of the care and love clearly being put into this third installment. I can't wait to see it in theaters and lose my shit watching Keanu say Maria, him go super with Sonic. I mean, come on, it's gotta be happening. And whatever the post-credit scenes might reveal. I think I've figured them out to some extent, and if I'm right, I'll be excited. But even if I'm wrong, I'm still trusting the franchise is in good hands over at Paramount, and whatever's next will continue to elevate the series one step at a time. Now, if you'll excuse me, I can hear the agents about to knock down my door. I can't let them take me alive, so I must flee until after I've seen the movie. Oh yeah, one of the posters came out with the tagline, "Chaos is coming," so maybe he'll show up instead and this whole video was a waste of time. Anyway, have fun at the movie. Goodbye!